Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Danny and this is Project Fern. I've had quite a few people message me asking me how much it cost in total to replace the full axle and all the bits on the back of the Berlingo Multispace. So in today's video I'm going to be going through every single bit that I bought, so it gives you an idea of how much it costs. Obviously it doesn't include labour charge or anything like that. My time was free doing this, but it'll give you an idea. If you're looking at a Berlingo that needs an axle doing, or your Berlingo needs an axle doing, it's going to break down every single part that I bought for the car. First item on the list is the axle, which was £284.99. This was for a reconditioned unit. You have to return the old one and then they activate the 2-year warranty for you. There are quite a few companies now that do these refurbished axles. They do weigh a ton as well. I think they're about 50 kilograms. So if you're getting them dropped off, make sure you get them dropped off wherever you're doing the work on the car, because putting them in the back of the car and stuff is just a nightmare. So this time when I did the swap over, I replaced the hubs. I wish I'd done this on the red Berlingo, which I am going to do at some point in the future. The hubs were £69.40 for both sides. That was for a really good make as well. They're really easy to do. I just didn't think when I was doing the red one, I was taking them off anyway, and for the sake of £70, I wish I'd just put new ones on that one as well. But the blue one has had new hubs put on as well. So on the blue one, the car had done 150,000 miles. The shockers were knackered. It was £41.21 for a pair of shockers. The bolts can be really hard to get off, and as you saw in my video, you need an M14 hex socket, plenty of WD-40. You're going to really benefit from having an impact gun as well. You can do it by hand, it's just going to be very hard work. So on the red one, I didn't change over the axle mounts. Mad at myself for that as well, but they were in nowhere near as bad as condition as on the blue one. They were £35 for a pair, and I would definitely recommend changing them while you've got the axle off anyway, especially with your car probably have done about 100,000 miles by the time it needs a new axle. So I replaced the brake shoes and wheel cylinders as well, which came in a kit. They were £33.75, well worth the money again. And again, with your car doing high mileage, you're going to have to be taking the old ones off to switch everything over, so you may as well switch these over and replace them while you're doing it. So on the back of the car, the axle does suffer from a lot of deterioration, considering underneath is so well protected with underseal. There's very little corrosion under there. The actual solid copper brake pipes that run from the rubber hose to the wheel cylinder, they are £23.99 for a pair. It's pretty expensive that for what the size of the pipes are, but I don't have all the flaring tools or anything like that. If you were to invest in flaring tools and you're doing this a lot, you could have probably knocked these up for a few quid, but you're going to have to replace them. Yeah, £23.99 for them. Still on with the brake parts here was the rubber flexible hoses, which were £16.64 for a pair. I think these were TRW, so they're a pretty good make. That's the same make of all the back brakes that are on Audis most of the time as well, especially uprated stuff. So I've not gone for a cheap one there, but I thought for £16.64 for both sides, again, definitely worth replacing. They go all corroded around the brackets, and I just wouldn't trust putting them back on for the effort that it takes. While the axle's off, it's just so easy to replace them. So next on the list are the replacement rear axle to body bolts. They were £15.19 for two. I had to cut one, if you remember, in the blue Berlingo video, because a captive nut had come loose inside and was just spinning. I had no issues at all with the red Berlingo. They came out fine, no issues. I have read online quite a lot of people saying they had to make little cuts in to get the captive nut lock so they can take the bolt out. That £15.19, I think £5 of that was postage. There was nowhere else where I could get them from. I got them from like a Citroen part specialist online. But yeah, a bit of a shame I had to buy them, but I've got a spare one now anyway in case next time I need another. For £9, I got the Hammerite underseal. It took one big bottle to do underneath, and that was 2 heavy good coats. The bottle of Carus that you saw me using, that was £9 a bottle, but I've had that for years. It's done battery trays on Fiestas, it's done the other Berlingo, it's done all sorts of that, and there's still probably about 3/4 of the tub left. Just make sure you always use a fresh paint brush, and make sure it doesn't discolour and stuff. It does go a bit bluey in the tub, sorry, a bit like milky, but that's just okay. That just keep using it, and like I say, for £9 it's definitely worth having a tub of that on the shelf. So next I bought some genuine Citroen hub nuts and caps. They were £7.80. I usually use the old nut to wind the hub back on, and then once it's on all the way, I take that hub off and put the new nut on and tighten it up with a torque wrench. I think they were 250 Newton meters, them hub nuts. The new hubs did come with caps and nuts, but I'd rather use the genuine ones, so I've got a spare of nuts and caps. If anyone wants a set, give me a shout and I'll post them out to you. So if you noticed in the video, I also painted the carrier, the spare wheel carrier, a few other bits, brake drums and stuff like that. I used VHT paint, which is very high temperature paint. I used a satin, I think, or maybe a matte black. That was £17.19, and like I say, that kind of lasts me a while now. The other one lasted me a few years as well. It's just nice for touching bits up. I bought a couple of cheap brushes to apply the crust. I think they were like 39, 40p each, so it was like £1 on brushes. They just throw away. The crust makes the brush go all brittle and horrible after you've used it anyway, so it is a throwaway item, but it's worth getting a couple of them before you start. Okay, so that's everything I've had to buy for the axle swap. I've just had a double check through my list here. I don't think I've missed anything. Obviously that doesn't include my time, but the grand total is £554.16, which I think is an absolute bargain to keep that car on the road. Obviously I've done a lot more to it, but considering what I paid for it, my mum and dad have bought the car off me for putting their grandchildren in and stuff, so it's going to stay in the family. Well worth making sure everything was done on it. Obviously, I don't know how much a garage are going to charge you for the labour or anything like that. I'm just giving you an idea of what the parts cost here for a DIY who's going to challenge themselves to do it himself. I've done 2 videos now on it. I've done one hour video showing you from start to finish on the red Berlingo, and I also did it broken down into steps on the blue Berlingo. I've done it on the floor just using your standard equipment. Yeah, I've got an impact gun and stuff like that, but the first time I don't even think I had an impact gun. They definitely help. They're definitely worth the investment. Good luck to anyone who's going to be attempting to do this. Anyone who's got any questions on it or anything like that, please hit me up in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe, people. Thanks to everyone who subscribed already and keeps coming back. Hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video.